guys! So today I'm very excited that I can introduce to you this amazing guest, this ambitious, wonderful girl. And I wanted to help you today for those people who have English as their second language and they maybe sometimes think that, I'm not good enough to create my own business, or maybe my English is not good enough. I'm not sure if I can be the leader for my customers. So today I've got Jiska, and she's a wonderful girl who created this amazing group for the people who are speaking English as a second language, and she's mentoring them. So today I will go straight to her and ask for her greatest tips in a short period of time, what greatest advice, and how she finds what people struggle with mostly. And just so you know, you're not alone. So all for you, Jiska.
Hi guys, Jin, thank you so much for these questions. It is a hot topic, and it is just something inevitable within our community as well, within the SFM. You want something and then you come up with all the limitations that, might prevent you from reaching that goal. And for non-natives, there's just one extra thing that is on your mind when you're starting all of this, and that is, can I make it in my second language? So being a non-native myself, and you as well, Jin, there is, it's just a fact. There is a limiting belief around this topic, and I just saw a need for people to gang up and to come together and to inspire each other and to help each other out regarding this element within your business, because it is so essential to overcome, to master, and to use in your business. And I say it all the time, there's no competition. There is no typical digital marketer. He doesn't or she doesn't exist. I have not met two people who are the same and getting the same results because they do the same things. In this business, an online business is about you and about your energy that you bring to the table and your message. So and your story, not to forget. So where do you come from? Why did you want to do this online business? What is your why? What is your story? What is your future? And that's the powerful thing to connect with your audience with. And being a non-native speaker is one of those things. So you should not suppress it, push it away, forget about it, pretend it's not there. That's all very, very bad advice. What I've learned from the group of people that I hang out with now once a week, when I do facilitate those webinars for the non-natives, we just focus, we almost celebrate that we are non-natives, and we just try to uncover all those limiting beliefs, and we try to, it's just, when you step into a car for the first time because you have your very first driving lesson, that's very uncomfortable. It doesn't feel natural. I think the same happens with being a non-native and accepting that that's going to be part of your business card almost. And it is just very important to become aware of that and to have to make room for that within your business, and to allow yourself to embrace all of that and your beautiful background and the things that you have that native speakers don't have. And there are some benefits. Like, the more I speak with people, the more I realize what the problem actually is, how we can fix it, and what the benefits are over native speakers. So what is it that you want me to go into?
No, absolutely. I absolutely agree with you. And I think that, people can sometimes even relate to you more. So they think if you are non-native speaker and you can do this, then they might think I can do this as well. And I would say the ratio of native and non-native speakers is very similar. So it's not that there are more native speakers who are creating their own online businesses. And at the same time, I was thinking, it's just amazing how you in your webinars encourage people, instead of whinging that, oh, English is not my native language and I'm not perfect in it, you actually give some tips in order to learn. So you encourage people to learn new words, new phrases, the best phrases that you use, that put yourself as authority. So I thought that's really great. And I think that's really good tip for the people who actually want to improve themselves. Just, improve your language every week. If you know that's your weak spot, you can overcome that. But there is no, reason to stop doing this instead.
Or to not even start.
Yeah, absolutely. So to conclude, because this is a short, this is not an interview. Maybe one day I will definitely interview you and we'll get more information out of you. But for today, for this short video, what would be your conclusion? And what would you say for someone who's thinking of doing this and they are discouraged by their English being their second language? What things would you do if you were them?
I'm just thinking, because so far we've had 10 webinars and every week we sit together for an hour and there is so much value coming out of those webinars, so many breakthroughs from people, so many, and it's very interactive. So imagine 8 people or 15 people sharing their tips and tricks and best case practices. So for me to pick out 3, I wouldn't do the whole tip.
So would it be the first biggest tip would be find a group of people who are the same like you and just encourage each other, find your accountability partners?
Yeah, well, number one, if you want to start an online business, is to see which type of online business is good for you. There's so much out there. You need to do due diligence. That's something I never ever can express. You need to do your research, and I feel that the SFM is one of the first online business communities where there is so much focus on growing as a person together with your business, and those 2 things can't go without each other. Yeah. So that's step number 1, and the SFM is the place to be if you're considering starting an online business. Then second, show up, put yourself out there, become resourceful. That's what the leadership team always says. Make sure that you are there where you have questions, and get people, gather people around you that have answers to these questions. So if you're non-native, that would be showing up in my webinar and joining us. But then showing up is not enough. You need to participate, and you need to put yourself out there. And I'm incredibly proud of our group because it's such a safe space for people to come, and people come back every week, which is it's the biggest compliment you can get as a facilitator of a webinar. But I listen to what they want and what they need, and I've been able to design the webinars how people want them to be. So yeah, so number 1, choose your group of people where you can develop as a non-native English speaking online business owner. Yeah. Then participate and be open-minded and be willing to grow. That's like a general thing, non-native or native speaking English. You need to be willing to grow, and it sometimes is uncomfortable and hurts a bit, but you need to get started. So when it comes to tips and tricks, specifically for non-natives, the biggest problem is that people live in a non-native English speaking country. So their environment doesn't invite them to speak English all the time. But their little tips and tricks are reading books, listening to music, watching movies in English. Another one is stop translating. So don't look at dictionaries that are translating from your native language to English, but instead use a dictionary that is translating the English word house and gives a description of the English word house, because then you get the connotation of the word. Whereas if you would look up house in my case Dutch, I would get a Dutch description, and I miss out on other words in English and the actual meaning. of the word. So you don't see the context if you just stick to your native language. So that would be my first tip. And the second one, well, actually the books and listening and reading, that would be the first one. Then the dictionary is the second one, practical one. And the third one would be make sure you speak in English as much as you can. There is a free thing going on the internet that's called a language exchange, which is amazing. You can make an account, and then you can become buddies with someone who is interested in the languages that you know. And you can, so you make an account and you say, I'm Jiska and I'm Dutch. I speak Dutch and I'm interested in learning English. Someone else who is English might be interested in learning Dutch. And then you can meet up over Skype or in real life, depends where you live. And then you can get together specifically to learn that other person's language. So you learn from a native, and it's incredibly powerful.
That's amazing. I will put the link in the description as well. So you can check that out. And
yeah, but also use Grammarly. Like don't shy away from online tools that are out there. Use them because they're free. Grammarly is free. Jin will leave the link in the description as well.
I'm using it myself. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, I'm using it too, and I know Alex is too. Like native speaking speakers are using it too. I want to conclude by saying that I've invited a couple of native English speakers on the webinar to compare stuff and to learn from them. The most interesting thing that we found is that all the mindset stuff that non-natives are battling with in terms of I can't do this because of my language, natives have as well. And this was a huge revelation. But to put yourself out there on camera, in your own or in your second language, the same things happen. The same demons show up, the same barriers, you have to break down the same barriers. So don't think that it's a disadvantage. And also the second one is that the native English speakers, they consider non-native English speakers clever, because by default you know two languages, whereas they have never, especially people who have been growing up in a native English speaking country, the need isn't there for them to learn a new language because they can cope. TV, online, and the rest of the world is speaking English to a certain level, so they don't need to learn a new language. Whereas I'm Dutch, and there's not many people in the world who know Dutch. So for me to go out in the international world, I needed to learn English. So they don't know anything but their own language, whereas we as non-natives, our brain is wired into how a new language, and in this case English, is built up in sentences, how it is used in expressions in life. So you automatically understand more of a different culture. You are more open-minded. You have there's a setting within your brain that comes with it that automatically considers other people's opinions, feelings, situations, backgrounds, because you know that there's a world that's different from yours. And there's three things that are so intertwined in culture, and that is religion, language, and food. So for you to understand a language means you have a better understanding of different cultures. Imagine what that would do for your business. You are better able to consider different things, whereas native English speakers, they're tied into their world more than we are. So there are so many benefits. There are so many things, tips and tricks you can do as a non-native, and I've become very, very passionate about this. Very, very passionate.
You can so feel that. You can definitely feel that from your heart. And
yeah, because I've for me, it's been a journey as well as a non-native online business owner. Like I had to go through the stages where I first was suppressing it. I didn't want to acknowledge it too much. I didn't want to have it as present in my business as it is now. And I am so like, oh, I'm so relieved that I can right now, because it's such an important part of me, and I can show where I'm coming from. It's part of my background, my story, my everything. And it's just the way my business is built now, and I want to show that. I want to offer that to other people as well. So yeah, the sooner you go within, the sooner and better you're able to put out into the world what's truly yours. That's what I always say, and that's what I want to conclude this video and my rant with.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jiska. And from my biggest takeaway from here, it's that it's not a minus that I'm, not native English speaker, but that's actually a gift. So yeah. Thank you so much for all your tips. That's truly valuable. And thank you for your time. And
yeah,
see you later, everyone.
Bye.